bring up world and then the bottom pivot point method, it will actually default, the pivot point will default back to the world center. And as long as I've got angle snap on up here, I can hold down shift and drag and it will snap to 90 degrees, release, instance, 3 copies, and go okay. So I now have my 3 fill lights that are instanced of one another, which means if I change one, the other ones will be affected. If I go back to my camera view now and give it a render, this is just fill light. The other thing I needed to do with that fill light, if I just go to a top view and select one of those lights, doesn't matter which one, just come up to the top, exclude and plane 001, which is actually the ground, so we'll just rename that to ground. So we've excluded the ground from those fill lights, and if I do a quick render, you'll see that the background is now not illuminated at all, because we don't want that fill light. We want the main key light to really illuminate this. So you'll see what I mean in a moment. So the next one I need is my key light. So that's going to be a target direct. Now 45 degrees from my camera and my scene, I'm just going to click and drag the target into the center. And then from my front view, if I select just the light and move, go to a front view and then just drag that up, what I'm left with is a 45 degree off the ground light, but 45 degree from a top view as well. So if I arc around, you'll see what I mean. There's that light. And what I want to do with that is open up the cone. So the hotspot beam, I'm going to put to 0. And then the fall off beam, I'm going to really ramp it right out to incorporate what is seen by the camera. You don't have to go too far, but just enough so that it's what's seen by the camera. I'm also going to go into shadows and tick yes. We're going to use shadow map. I'll go to my shadow map parameters. I'm going to type in 2048. It's not a very heavy scene, so a high number's okay. You could even go 3072. Sample range I'll pop in at about 6, and the BIOS I'll wind down to 0. And I need to crank up the multiplier. I'm just going to put it at 1, and instead of a blue hue, I'm going to put a slight warmer yellow hue into it. And just go to our camera view now, and we should have something that it's coming together fairly nicely. It's almost there. I don't like how bright this silver is, so what I'm going to do is just bring up my material editor, take that silver material, and then just darken it down a little bit, and that should work okay. We'll see how that looks. Yeah, I think that's working a lot better. And the last thing we'll do